Earlier this year, when Porsche unveiled the 992.2 model of the 911, a lot of us had concerns as to what would happen to the GT program within Porsche. Well, today, the head of the GT program at Porsche showed us the brand new 992.2 GT cars, and I can tell you, it is a lot different from what I was expecting. My name is Don, you're watching The Beta Car Guy. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let's just jump in. So earlier this year, when Porsche unveiled the 992.2 GTS Hybrid, there was a lot of concern as to what would happen to the GT cars inside of the GT program in Porsche. Why? Because the GTS kind of represented the first step toward electrification of the Porsche 911 brand. The GTS came with a hybrid battery, a hybrid powertrain. It had an electric turbo along with the 3.6 liter flat six. Well, what was unveiled today for the GT3 kind of is more of an evolution as opposed to a revolution that was brought in by the GTS. So I am going to compare the GT3, the 992.2 GT3 against the 992.2 GTS Hybrid and kind of call out the differences and the similarities. So let's just jump in. So what is the GTS Hybrid? I made a video about this and I have the link in the upper right of this video, but it is the hybrid version of the Porsche 911. It has an ICE engine, which is a 3.6 liter flat six. It is supplemented with an e-turbo, a T-Hybrid powertrain, and a self-charging high voltage battery. It makes about 532 horsepower, 449 pound-feet of torque. It is very fast. It is now the fastest car in the Porsche lineup. 0 to 60 is 3 seconds with a PDK. It does not come with a manual, and it did away with analog gauges, and right now you're getting a 12.65-inch LCD dash. It did away with the twist to start knob on the left side of the steering column, so you got a push button start. It comes as a two-seater with an optional back seat, so you check a box and you get it at no cost. There were revisions to the exterior, so the blinkers that were on the bumper has now been integrated into the headlights. There's been some cleaning up of the rear end. There's been some introduction of aero flaps in the bumper of the front to kind of help with cooling as well as aerodynamics, and also to help with the hybrid setup. And you can get that car in two body styles. You can get it as a cabriolet, and you can also get it as a Targa with an automated top that kind of folds away. The GTS Hybrid starts at around $186,000, and you can option it to your heart's content. Now, the GTs, the GT3 cars that were introduced by Porsche, seem to be more of a continuation and evolution of the 992.1 GT3s. There are going to be two GT3s being launched at the same time, which is a little different. So we're going to have the GT3, the race car, which has the swan neck wing, and then we're going to have the GT3 Touring, which is more of a gentleman's version of the race car. It's going to have the same powertrain as the GT3 with the wing, but the approach and the aesthetic is going to be a little different. So the order book for the GT3s, by the way, they start at the end of the year. The car starts at $222,500 and it goes up from there because there are a number of different packages. If you get the winged Porsche, then you can option the Weissach pack that introduces weight saving as well as carbon fiber elements in the car. If you get the GT3 Touring, there's a lightweight package that you can add that also introduces certain things to the car as well. For the Touring, the car does give you the option to add in a rear seat, but I believe in the video that I saw on the introduction of the GT3, it is a cost option, so you may have to pay to have back seats added to your GT3 Touring. The GT3 and the GT3 Touring both have either, it comes standard with a 6-speed manual. You can option it with a 7-speed PDK. No one's gonna hate you if you do that. Both will have the 4-liter turbo flat 6 cylinder engine that revs up to 9,000 RPMs. With the manual transmission, the standard transmission, what you will be getting is the short throw shifter out of the 911 992.1 ST. That is now going to be the standard shifter on the GT3s. You still get the 12.65 LCD inch screen out of the GTS Hybrid. Where I think they differ on the inside is you don't get all of the electric information because there's no hybrid powertrain on the GT3, which is a good thing, I think, for many. This car, the GT cars, seem to be engineered more for the track. There's improved aerodynamics that also help with cooling for the gearbox, the drive shaft, and the brake. You're still going to get the swan neck spoiler on the GT3, the race edition. There's going to be lightweight interior door panels, improved brake cooling, I call that out. The steering rack has been revised, so it is a lot tighter. You will be getting, and I don't think this was kind of called out that much, but you will be getting the front axles from the GT3 RS, the 992.1. Those would now be standard on the GT3. What else? So the GT3 cars are going to be slower than the GTS Hybrid, and obviously the GTS Hybrid has that electric assist that gives it a lot more power. So the GTS Hybrid, as I mentioned, makes 332 horsepower, 449 pound-feet of torque. The GT3s, both the Touring and the car with the wing, makes 502 horsepower, and the pound-feet dropped 20 pounds less than the 992.1, so it dropped to 331 pound-feet. And the speed for those two cars are, if you get the PDK, 0 to 60 is 3.2 in the GT3 and 3.7 if you get the manual. And comparing that against the GTS Hybrid, 0 to 60 is 3 seconds flat with the PDK. So the GTS Hybrid, it's going to be faster. It's going to be a little more set up for everyday use. It is going to be more the Grand Tourer, that's GTS, it's more the Grand Tourer car, but the GT3 is going to be set up more for performance driving, racetrack, etc. There's going to be a lot more carbon fiber reinforced plastics being used on the GT3. Some suspension components are going to have these carbon fiber elements. If you get the Wiseac as well as you get the roll cage on the inside, the roll cage is going to be made out of carbon fiber reinforced plastic. You're going to get the forged magnesium wheels on the GT3s, and it comes in one body style both for the GT3 Touring as well as for the winged car. It comes as a coupe. You get the GTS Hybrid as a Targa or Cabriolet, and then for the GT3, whether it's the winged or for the Touring, you get it as a coupe. So guys, my name is Don. I hope you like this information. I am pleased with the GT3. I like what it has turned out to be. For now, we know that the GT3 is going to stay non-electric. It's not going to have the electric assist. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you on the next one. And go check out my video on the GTS Hybrid, where I kind of lose it as to the changes that were being introduced by Porsche. Peace.